I was driving home from the airport, the hum of the tires against the asphalt barely masking the silence between us. My wife stared out the window, her hand resting lightly on her lap. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Sir," a voice crackled on the line, "this is air traffic control. We're calling about your wife's flight. There was an incident. We have no record of the plane ever landing." I glanced at her. She didn't move. "That's ridiculous," I said, forcing a laugh. "She's right here, sitting next to me." Silence. Then muffled shouting. The man's voice returned, lower, sharper. "Sir, can you describe her right now?" I looked again. The curve of her jaw, the stillness of her hands, the way she hadn't spoken since we left. Something tightened in my chest. "Sir?" he pressed. I hung up. I told myself it was a mistake, a system error, bureaucracy at its finest. But the question lingered, gnawing. "Can you describe her?" I stole glances as the streetlights passed over her face in cold flashes. Her skin looked pale, almost unfamiliar. When I asked how the flight was, she only smiled faintly, a rehearsed expression. At home, she moved through the rooms like a shadow. The suitcase she carried was the same, but the clothes inside were neatly folded in ways she never did. Small differences, tiny fractures. I noticed her perfume was different, heavier, sweet but foreign. Her phone, once left carelessly on the counter, now never left her pocket. I didn't confront her. I studied, observed. My silence became a mirror she avoided. But the words from that call circled me like vultures. No record of the plane ever landing. If her flight never arrived, then where had she come from? And who was she, really? I began collecting evidence, quietly, methodically. Her boarding pass, fake, numbers that didn't match any known flight. Her credit card statement, charges in cities she'd never mentioned. I traced the numbers, cross-referenced the times. Patterns emerged. There was a man, same hotels, same weekends she claimed to be visiting her sister. I pulled phone records, dozens of calls, midnight hours. His number saved under a false name. My heart didn't race, it slowed. Each discovery sharpened my focus, like a blade honed against stone. At night, I lay beside her, listening to her breathe, wondering how long she'd been rehearsing this double life. I didn't speak of it, not yet. Instead, I rehearsed my own lines in silence. I wanted the truth, but more than that, I wanted her to see herself exposed, to see the walls she built collapse without warning. So I waited, patient, cold. The DNA test arrived first. I'd sent away a toothbrush, strands of hair. The results were clear. My wife wasn't who she claimed to be. Different name, different identity. The man from her calls, he was real, married with children. She was his shadow, slipping between two lives. I set the papers on the kitchen table one morning. No words, just the file, the truth staring up like a loaded gun. She walked in, saw the documents, froze. Her lips parted. "You—" I met her eyes, calm, steady. "Who are you?" I asked. Her face crumbled, hands trembling as she reached for excuses. Tears welled, her voice cracked, but I didn't flinch. I watched, silent, detached. For the first time, she saw herself without a mask. I didn't shout, I didn't accuse, I didn't give her the dignity of my anger. Instead, I slid my phone across the table. The screen lit up with photos, call logs, hotel receipts, layer upon layer of proof. Her tears spilled faster. She reached out, but I pulled my hand back before she touched me. "You were careful," I said evenly, "but not enough." She collapsed into the chair, sobbing into her palms. The performance was useless now. The stage had burned to ash. I stood, collected the papers, and placed them neatly back into the envelope. Evidence. Closure. I didn't need her confession. The silence between us screamed louder than words. That night, I packed a single bag. No hesitation. I left the envelope on the table, a monument to her undoing. She would wake to it, read it again, drown in it. I stepped into the night, the air sharp against my lungs. I felt nothing, not rage, not grief, only clarity. Betrayal isn't an explosion, it's erosion, slow, invisible, until the ground beneath you gives way. As I drove away, I realized the truth. She hadn't destroyed me, she had unmasked herself, and I was free. I never looked back.